Hey everyone, this is Rebrand in Public, a video series where we are discussing how we are rebuilding, refactoring, and rebranding iThemes into SolidWP. My name is Matt Cromwell.
And I'm Devin Walker, and I'm really excited because today we have a special guest on our show. He's been with iThemes slash Solid for a very long time. His name's Timothy Jacobs, and welcome to the show, Timothy.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks for having me.
absolutely. Thanks for being here, man. Tell the world just a little bit about your history with iThemes and what you do here.
Sure, yeah. So I've been at iThemes for a little over 7 years now. I started over on our iThemes Exchange project, which is near and dear to my heart. But I've been
Mhm.
working on security for I think the last 5 or so years, and have been a lead developer for maybe the past 3 years or so.
Absolutely. And, I ask around and stuff, and folks think you're really good at WordPress security. Like, aren't you a core contributor?
Yeah, I'm also a core committer. I work on WordPress core. Have for a number of years now. Started, I think, about the same time that I started at iThemes is when I started helping with WordPress core. But I've been a core committer since about WordCamp US 2019, I believe. And
Mhm.
yeah, I try and help along with the REST API.
Nice. Give everyone just a quick rundown of like what are the types of things you're looking for with WordPress security? Like, what's the stuff that you're working on in terms of core, and why do folks generally need like a plugin like iTheme Security or Solid Security?
Yeah, so with WordPress security, Solid Security focuses on improving the health of your WordPress site. So things like making sure that you don't have vulnerable software installed. WordPress core itself is really secure, but if you have a plugin installed that hasn't been updated in a long time and there's a 9.8 out of 10 security vulnerability, you're going to have a problem. Same if you're using weak passwords. I think we're the first WordPress security plugin to introduce support for passkeys, which is really taking the whole authentication experience in WordPress to the next level, both for ease of use and for security. So those are the main things that we focus on: is making sure you don't have vulnerable software installed, making sure that your user accounts are secure and protected. And then we have a whole bunch of features that just make it easier if you are running hundreds and hundreds of WordPress sites and you want a centralized place to manage them.
Mm.
That's the solid security experience.
Oh,
Awesome.
I like that. That's a solid experience right there. So with iTheme Security, that plugin's been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
It has a million active installs. Um, Tell us about some of the current version, which is still iTheme Security. Let's talk about some of the current pain points of that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that we've heard a lot of that we want to improve. A big thing is it making it difficult to find the things that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So we want to take another pass at our UI to make it really clear where you can find different security features so you always know where they exist. The other
Yeah.
thing is taking parts of things that are kind of buried in security menus and elevating them into their own full dedicated pages where they have a lot more space to breathe and a lot more space to show you what you really need to know about your security on your site. You don't have to be hunting through menus. So those are
Yeah.
some of the big things. We've got another really big thing. I don't know how much we want to tease it. You'll see a little bit about it as we go through our demo of what's going on in Solid Security right now, but is also talking about some additional partnerships with PatchStack that we're very excited about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to see some of that patch stack collaboration already today. But before we get to that, why don't we share your screen, Timothy, and give us a preview of what we're going to look at with Solid Security. So just note, this isn't the final UI. Some
No.
things will change. For instance, the Solid Security logo in the top left is slightly older version than we're actually going to go with. But the bulk of this UI looks exactly like we envisioned it from Figma. So, Timothy, why don't you give us a rundown of what we're looking at here?
For sure. So we're going to go over 2 pages in Solid Security today. We're going to start with the dashboard, and then we're going to take a look at a brand new page, which is the vulnerabilities page. But so the security dashboard is a feature that we introduced back in iTheme Security, I think 4 or 5 years ago now. And it was envisioned as a place to kind of give you a snapshot overview of what's happening on your site. We've given this, if you're a current iThemes security user, you can already see the huge, fresh new coat of paint that is attached to the Solid Security dashboard. And it also comes with new functionality as well. So we have this new security summary card here that we've kind of made bright. And the first thing that you're going to see, it's called out with this nice purple star to really give you a high level overview of the security in your site. So you don't need to dive into all of the different dashboard cards. We do, I think, a really great job over on the iThemes blog, which will become the SolidWP blog, of covering what's happening and what you should know of. And so we highlight, for instance, the latest WordPress vulnerability report. So you can always take a look at there and see, hey, here are the past 116 vulnerabilities that might affect over 6 million WordPress sites in the past week. That's pretty crazy. And so we give you a link that you can see about that. We also showcase if you have any vulnerabilities on your site, we'll tell you about them. You can see here, it seems that there's no vulnerable software installed. And we're going to have a space for available improvements. So if Solid Security has identified that, hey, here's something that you can do pretty quickly to set something up, it'll look a little bit something like this. If you're new to our dashboard, you can see some of these different dashboard cards. We have our banned users card, which lets you ban IP addresses really easily.
Ooh, right in the widget there. That's really
right in the widget. You can add in a new one. We're going to say 123. Sorry to whoever that is. You're now going to be banned out of my local WordPress site here. The IP address is already banned, it turns out. Let's do another one. Let's do 179. It turns out 123 is a number that I like to test with a lot.
Yeah.
We can do 179. And we'll ban that one. And we can see it over there.
Nice.
We also get an overview of all of our active lockouts. So you can see these are a couple of users that are locked out of my site right now. We have this user security profile. So this gives you a quick overview of the security of multiple users on your site. So you can see for me that I have a strong password. My password hasn't changed in 10 months. I've got two-factor enabled, which is awesome. And I was last seen within 35 minutes, which is pretty neat. We also have some visual ways that you can get an overview of your site security. So this is a local WordPress site. It's not really connected to the internet. So we just have some fake lockouts that I've created, and you can see some of the threats that Solid Security has blocked. Get an overview of updates, the latest site scans that we've run. And if you're using our database backups feature, you get a convenient place to look at all of your database backups. The eagle-eyed among you might have spotted this new vulnerable software card. This is taking one of those things that has kind of previously been buried in different cards. You get an email notification about it. You'll see a message about it in the security message center, but we wanted to elevate it into one big card that'll show you all of the current vulnerable software that you installed. So right now, based off of the last scan that I've done, I don't have any, but we're going to head on over to this new vulnerabilities page, and we're going to run a new scan. So this is one of these pages that we've taken, again, out of the plugin and made it its own dedicated UI to look at all of the vulnerable software. We do site scans. We do hundreds of thousands of them a day. And something between 25 and 35% of the scans that we return back, they have vulnerable software on their site. And that's so crazy. It's really important. It's a high number.
1 in 4.
1 in 4, yeah. So it's really important that we kind of give them a place to take a look and make sure that, hey, I don't have vulnerable software installed. Or if I do, in this case, for instance, I have this theme over in here called Newsmag, and there is an active vulnerability about it, but I have this theme deactivated. So it's probably not currently affecting my site, but we're calling it out for us here. And so from this page, I can go ahead and run a new scan. I'll head over to scan for vulnerabilities, and we're checking, and it seems that we have something new, which is from Formidable Forms. So I'm running an older version, 6.1.2, and it's telling me now that I have this unresolved security vulnerability. I can click View Details, and I'll get an overview of, hey, here are the things that I need to be wary of about this plugin. It has a 9.8 critical severity CVSS score. That's really high. Right now, according to our partners at PatchStack, it hasn't been exploited at all. And we're hinting at this that's patched automatically. So depending on what plan of Solid Security you might have, if you are going to be getting our virtual patching functionality coming to us from PatchStack, we'll be able to automatically provide patches onto your site. So you'll never
Yeah.
be affected, even if you don't have an update that's yet available.
Da, 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 da. That's kind of a big reveal.
It's pretty cool. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see that. It's been a big request from our customers, and one of the major new features that we're going to be launching with
Yeah,
Solid Security.
I mean, the whole idea of virtual patching, just so much peace of mind knowing that it's going to be taken care of. If a lot of folks are running their business, they don't even log into their WordPress site more than once a week sometimes.
Exactly.
And like being able to know that that's going to be okay is really a big deal. So they kind of need to learn how to spell WordPress with a capital P. What's going on, man?
Sometimes these vulnerabilities get reported without the capital P. We'll make sure to fix that before this goes out.
Yeah, I just want to note how cool the virtual patching feature is. So the free version of iThemes Security will still receive the vulnerability
Yeah.
reports, but they will not receive the virtual patching
That's right.
capability. They can also see the vulnerabilities come in, but there will be a 48-hour delay, which is actually a much shorter window than some of our competitors. For the pro version with Patch Stack, they will be able to receive immediate access to those as they're released by Patch Stack. So that's a little bit of a difference between the free and the pro version.
Exactly. And so basically 0 days do happen where we have a vulnerability that is uncovered in software and a patch hasn't been released yet. Or sometimes it's not even a 0 day and you're just unable to update yet. Maybe it's a really critical plugin and you need to do extra testing to make sure that, hey, before we update this, I have to be 100% confident that's not going to break my site. And so virtual patching is able to take that window and say, okay, for as long as you're running this vulnerable version, we have your back. We'll install some virtual patches for you. But of course, though, you're still protected when an update comes out that actually fixes this vulnerability. If you have it enabled, Solid Security will automatically update you to that version.
Interesting.
And you want
So
to
you're
do anything.
you're running the vulnerable version,
Mhm.
but you're protected against that vulnerability while you're running that version. Essentially, that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's
so that's
incredible.
another kind of big difference in how PatchStack's virtual patching technology differs from some other patching technology. Uh,
Mm,
if you're not running vulnerable software, there's no reason for us to be wasting time executing all these firewall rules that aren't ever
mm,
actually going to affect your site. They just slow you down.
slow you
So
down.
that's
Yeah,
a really cool differentiator in how PatchStack has built their firewall engine.
yeah. Seriously,
Yeah, you don't get everything. You only get what you
yeah. The
need.
last thing you need is a security plugin that actually slows your website down.
That's one of the things we want to avoid.
Yeah, for sure. Nice.
Um, and yeah, so you can see here, I'm being told that I should update the Formidable Forms plugin to the latest available version, at least 6.2. It looks like I don't have an update available yet. So if I want to, I get a quick little button here to deactivate the plugin, and I can go ahead and do that. And we now keep track of this. So
Hmm.
all the vulnerabilities that have affected your site, we kind of keep track of them. We know that, hey, the admin user, in this case me, deactivated that plugin on April 20th. And so you kind of get a little bit of an audit log functionality as well. So you can see the history of how vulnerabilities have affected your site.
Yep. That's
So if we go
awesome.
back to this vulnerabilities page, we can kind of see some of that in action. We can look through a bunch of vulnerabilities that have gone through different phases of this WordPress site. And you can see now kind of a history of what's affected your site over months and years, which I think is really neat.
Wow. Wow. Absolutely.
That's a very powerful screen that has never been anywhere in our screens before. So I think that's a neat historical view of
Exactly.
things.
Like previously, you'd have to be digging through logs and it's not very visual. And
Mhm.
if it just wouldn't really be elevated. And so that's one of those big things that we're trying to do with this plugin update is to take these things that were buried or just not at all visible at all and elevate them into their own screens like this vulnerable software screen.
Excellent.
Yeah, I feel it makes it a lot more clear the value over time that this software provides you, which is one of the goals that we're doing with the rebrand is making it more clear to our admins slash customers, like what we're doing to help
Yeah.
protect
Exactly.
them.
Not just
And
enabling features and whatnot, but actually like surfacing the actual protections, and that's great.
exactly. And so while 1 in 4 of those sites does have vulnerable software installed, We also wanted to kind of give you a way that, hey, if you're interested in security, that you can kind of see what's going on. And so we have this cool button over here where you can browse the vulnerability database. And so this
Mm,
will show you the last 2 weeks of vulnerabilities that have been affecting the WordPress ecosystem. And so, like we
mm,
said pretty clearly, hey, these vulnerabilities aren't affecting your site, but we wanted to give you a quick way where you could see all of the details and kind of get an overview of what's happening out in the web. Maybe you're browsing through this page and you have another site that you're thinking about that, oh, I use BadgeOS or I use Stream. I want to make sure that I'm protected.
Mhm.
This is kind of a great way for those of you who are interested in just seeing the happenings, that you can
mm.
take a look at all of what's going on in the larger ecosystem.
You're making me think a little bit. I wonder if we might be able to even surface that in like the add plugins area. Like if there's, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a crazy idea.
Ooh.
Yeah. I
Um,
think there's a lot of cool places that we can surface this type of data.
yeah, like you don't want to go and install a plugin if there's a known vulnerability in that version right then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. You're browsing the repo in your admin site. We could help protect them in that
Yeah,
journey.
thankfully WordPress.org is pretty on top of it.
Yeah.
So oftentimes those plugins will get kind of temporarily delisted from the repo and they'll kind of disappear for a little
Mm,
bit and then come back.
Yeah.
That's sometimes when a security vulnerability has been affected. And we're
Hmm.
like, okay, let's make sure that no one else is installing this because we don't want people to get hacked when we know about it.
Exactly.
yeah, nothing quite gets a plugin author to update their code like temporarily
Then it's suddenly
delisting
A
the
soft
disappearing.
feature.
ban, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. This is really great. Timothy, last question for you. So you've been working on iTheme security for a long time, and this is kind of a new kind of breath of fresh air coming into it. Like, how are you feeling about like the trajectory of where solid security is going and everything?
I'm really excited. You can, if you take a little peek at our admin menu there, the eagle-eyed among you, you might have seen there's a user security page that we didn't demo for you, a site scan page, which is going to take some more bits from all over the plugin. So I'm really excited. I think there's a lot of cool new features. I can't wait to talk to you all about the firewall and how we're implementing that. And it's a really exciting time, I think, to be a now iThemes, soon to be SolidWP customer.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the big teaser for an upcoming show is we are building a firewall. There will be one in the basic version, which is also something where is a newer thing. We're referring to free now as basic. Um, the basic version of Solid Security will have a firewall. It won't be powered by PatchStack, but you will still be able to add your custom rules, and we will give you a rule set that we have vetted from our friends over at
Mhm.
Nexus, which is in our family of brands. So you will be starting off with a nice little boilerplate there, and then in the pro version, I don't want to reveal much there, but you'll have a great visual interface, and I think it's going to really compete with and really exceed a lot of our competition out there
Absolutely.
that are currently doing
Absolutely.
firewalls. Really excited for that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Timothy. This has been another episode of Rebrand in Public. Everyone, hit that like button and the subscribe button. We got to say those things, and we actually do appreciate it if you could do it. But most importantly, tune in next week. We're going to be pushing these out once a week for now, and bringing you some more updates. Next time, we'll be talking a little bit more about the website, which is definitely a build in public kind of situation at the moment. We have some really cool stuff coming up on the website. So thanks so much. Have a good one.